Yeah.
In the morning like I know, and to think as if my life keep on shining with the sun.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all viewers of the virtual St. Martin Nation, the website of the Grassroots St. Martin Nation Building Movement. My name is Leopold James, and I am the president of this movement. Today is Sunday, March the 4th, 2012, and this afternoon we are going to offer you a very interesting program from the perspective of the grassroots St. Martin people. With me here this evening is my friend and colleague of the St. Martin Grassroots Movement, Mr. Albert Adams, also known as Jesse, his boxing name. And with us this afternoon, our special guest, very important, very well-known celebrity, none other than Mr. X-Ray. X-Ray will explain to you the reason for him being here this afternoon. And without any further ado, X-Ray, welcome to the virtual St. Martin Nation, which is the website of the Grassroots St. Martin People's Nation Building Movement. It's an honor and privilege having you here with us this afternoon, and we know that you have a very, very interesting program that you would like to inform the viewers on St. Martin about, as well as the viewers around the world. X-Ray, the word is yours.
Thank you, Leopold James, and thank you, Mr. Adam Jesse. The program that I'm doing right now on SOS Radio, I first have to thank Billy D, Captain D, Billy D. Because he's a politician right now, he couldn't go on with his talking point program that comes on every morning from 9 until 10. So they had to find someone, and a few people met me in the street and tell me, well, they hear that Billy D have to come off the air, and I'll be the perfect person for it. So I should contact him. And after I get 5 people tell me that, I decided, you know what, let me check him out. Yeah, let me check him out, because what happened, I was moving back and forth with my kids in Canada and managing them. They're up in Canada doing some music right now. And then we reached a point where we wouldn't be going back until September. So I said, well, it's a perfect chance for me. And it was a nice opportunity for me also to be of a service to my country, my island. And this politics, this election, I should say, that's coming up right now is very, very important for St. Martin. And a lot of people won't realize how important it is. So that's why I have sit down, figure out how I'm going to set this up. And here comes to my mind the grassroots movement. Because while I was traveling throughout the world, I always stay in tune. And you always, Leopold, email me and send me the things that are going on. Whenever you're going to be on the radio, you always send me emails, and I always follow up and listen to the programs. And I say the perfect way to go with this program this time is to really get deep down with the politicians and find out what are the plans, not only for St. Martin, but for the people of St. Martin. And that's where I have to bring your name. And there was not a way to do it, according to how I see the way that St. Martin is growing right now. There was not a way to do it but to find out exactly, are you going to continue the same way, or are you going to make a change now and decide, it's time for me to look at St. Martin and its people's roots and get going with it. That's the idea. And it seems like it's going very well because people are accepting it, and it's going really nice.
Okay. If I may, I want to thank you very, very much for that honor of allowing us to have an input in your program as well. And I must also, of course, thank Billy very, very, very much, because I admire him for doing that.
Yes.
After all, this program is a program that Billy D himself created, and it has become basically, I think, the most popular, the most informative program on St. Martin, which is also online, and for him to basically turn over his baby, his intellectual baby, and allow me to be part of that. I do not take it for granted at all, because he's taking a big risk by allowing others, to host his program while he is, doing his political work. So I would like to thank Billy D very much for that as well. And I think, you said it already, X-Ray. You are one of those guys that, I have admired for many years, because you have been the voice of St. Martin, like Billy D is now for many, many years on St. Martin. And I remember clearly the day when the program stopped, it was like your heart stopped beating, because your program was so important in the very existence and mindset of St. Martin people. And it got me very, very upset, as well as many other St. Martiners, that, a voice that we could have related to, was taken away from us, as one of another, way of us to exist as St. Martin people has been taken away from us, Having said that, it's very clear, that we have not been invited by you, to help you co-host the program based on our good looks.
No.
Right?
No, of course not.
And also not based on the fact that of our nice and way of expressing ourselves with lip service.
Exactly.
You have invited us because you recognize that on St. Martiners are really at a crossroads in their very existence. Because during the development of St. Martin, basically everybody from all over the world has come to St. Martin and has become, a real stakeholder in our development, leaving us out, and it's clear that this cannot any longer continue, and that this is one of, if not our last chance, to resolve this problem in a peaceful way. So I'm glad to make our contribution, and I'm also very, very glad to have my fellow board member and friend Jesse here with us, who is a real soldier for St. Martin and a very solid and loyal supporter. So I would like to give Jesse the word now.
Good afternoon.
Our input.
Good afternoon, Dr. Jim. Good afternoon, X-Ray, and good evening and good afternoon, because people around the world are viewing us on the internet. And I would like to say good evening and good afternoon, good morning to our many listeners and viewers that is interested in what's taking place on St. Martin. First of all, Dr. Jim here used the word just now. We're probably at the end of our last election for our existence. How do one recognize the end of the existence? For instance, we could look at the trend. For instance, when we talk about the trend, I'm talking about before the end was signaled, it was all about us. St. Martiners was on the list and representing St. Martin. But when we start seeing investors and other kind of Johnny come lately wanted to go and represent us, now I'm convinced that we are at the end of our existence, because they already now position themselves in a position where they are feeling very safe now that it's time for them to take over this island for us. Yes. And I think it's time for our politicians, the indigenous and Martiners, those that really has ties to this island, to reconsider them and realize that, hey, it's time for us to bond ourselves together, like Deja always said, bond ourselves together and have one united front for St. Martin. I mean, it's not about party, it's about St. Martin, and when you get that connection and wanted to work for St. Martin, it's like in the army, it's not how many soldiers fall, but the battle has to be won. And to win the battle, we just got to keep going forward. And I think the only way we can go forward is forward together. And I think if we continue going forward together, we have a great opportunity of reversing the situation that St. Martin is in. I think that St. Martiners has to get the courage like the people in Angola. When you see your back is against the wall, you got to come back fighting. And I think we're not seeing that enough. And we are hoping, and that's why we are there, hoping that we can motivate and get the people with a certain mindset where they could come forward and have the confidence to go forward based on something. Okay? And the something we're talking about is the Treaty of Concordia, where they could have something that they can relate to and inspire them for the future. Because nobody want to fight in an open thing that they don't even know what they're aiming at. So there has to be something that they can aim at, and they know that with confidence, having this being met, they have a foundation to rely on. And I think the Treaty of Concordia being the foundation where everything else could build upon. Okay, so I'll give back the floor.
Maybe X-Ray, you'd like to say something more about the program, what you've had in terms of the experience, the feedback you get from the public, you know, what the politicians who have been in the program themselves, what they think of the program. You know, maybe you can explain something in terms of what we expect from the politicians as well.
Yeah. I meet people every day since the program started, and everybody is surprised to see the approach we take to it, because it's never been done before, and the bold step that we take. You know, everybody, all of us in St. Martin have to realize that we have a certain talent or certain potential to do a service for St. Martin. And I use my own, as being in radio over 18 years now, and to be a voice, and with the strength of the knowledge of you, Dr. James, and you, Jesse, and the heart that we have for St. Martin, we have to develop the others who got that potential, who got that heart, but afraid to come out forward. Because now people are starting to understand where we're going with the program. When we first started, it was like we attacking. But now they get to realize, okay, I see what you're all doing. You're all making the politician understand that we know that I am messing up the country. And we want for those people now to come out and let them know, listen, you're not there working for us. You're there to serve.
Exactly.
You're there to do good for the country. Because, in my opinion, a politician should be a person that, in his neighborhood, people know he's a servant of. He have helped the neighbor to bring the water. He have helped that neighbor to help clean the yard. He helped build a house. You see him doing something. They would support him. And if you put yourself on a list, and your neighborhood can't back you because I don't think you could be a politician.
Could I ask you a question? We did the program a few times, yeah? And I want to ask you if we interview people based on their gender. You know, in other words, does it make any difference to us how we question our people?
No, it's the ability.
Could you explain that? Because I think it's important that people understand that.
I'm glad you asked that question too, because the last guest we had, who was Marthe Agondole, female, very strong woman,
absolutely,
very intelligent woman, and she could
defend herself.
She could defend herself, but the people outside didn't understand where we was going with it. You understand? And I want them to understand that, listen, if we put a politician there, whether it's a man or woman, they have to be strong enough to defend St. Martin. Because when they go travel to defend the country, you want a strong person who can represent.
You got to be able to be grilled.
You got to be able to be grilled, because
take the grill.
What we are doing is nothing compared to what's going to happen.
It's a training.
It's a training.
Easy training.
Oh yeah, this is nothing compared to what France is going to put them in.
Exactly.
And a lot of people bawling foul, but no, she's a politician.
I would like to add to that, you know, because I think it's very important that people realize that we are sitting here basically as a grassroots movement to give the input, you know, in terms of making statements, asking questions, you know, as it relates to grassroots Samaritan people. That's the only reason that's our bar. Yeah. So either the politicians meet that bar or they don't meet the bar. You know, either they are good, you know, but not good enough, or they are good and they meet the bar. You see? And I think it's very important that we all, you know, grow up. You know, if you want to, you know, go in government, if you want to run a country, we have to realize when you come to such a program as a politician, you don't come as a woman, you don't come as a bullhead man, you don't come you come as a politician.
A politician.
You know, a politician who happens maybe to be a man, or happens to be a woman.
Yeah.
You know?
And you want to lead.
Exactly.
And for a person to lead, they got to be strong.
Exactly. Exactly.
A weak person can't lead.
Exactly. Exactly.
And this is what a program
Exactly.
defining now who is strong.
Who can do the job.
Who can do the
Who
job.
can do the job.
Yes, yes, exactly. Because if you look at our trend of, let's take 30 years back, we had most likely the same leaders. How much millionaires local have he turned out? I doubt if you found them. I doubt you could find one or two.
I think it's a very good point you bring there, because again, our interest in being part of what you're doing now is, and we want to make it very, very clear, because sometimes people think that we are against development. I mean, how could you be against development? You know? So we want to make it very clear, we are not against development. As a matter of fact, we are for development.
For development.
But when we say development, we mean for sure
For who?
that we, the St. Martin people, are at the very core of the development.
Of course.
You see, how can we be against that type of development?
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's important that politicians realize that we know we have immigrants from all over the world here. We have no problem with that in and of itself.
Of course.
But to build a country is like to build a house. Guess what? You better have a good foundation.
Yeah.
If your foundation isn't strong, guess again, the house, you know, with the slightest little tremor, the house is going to come down.
Yeah.
And we are in that situation here on St. Martin. You cannot sustainably develop St. Martin if St. Martiners are not
Part of it.
the most important part of it, the foundation, and unless St. Martiners are very strong, you know, as a people.
Of course.
Can I say something? Can I add something to you? Because Dr. James, I keep hearing you saying St. Martin, and you have to be careful because all the pastors still have St. Martin on the list. All the list is St. Martin. So again, if you don't start from at the beginning, who's a St. Martin, then you could be right and coinciding with all the others because they still have St. Martin. So you have to be careful.